Looking at the study guide, problem number 6, which table represents the same linear relationship as y equals 0.25x minus 10? Okay, so here you just plug in numbers. What I want you to notice here is that you don't put in these first two numbers. Don't use these. Why am I saying that? Because if you look at these two, they're the same as these two, the same as these two, and the same as these two. So we know that when x is 0, y equals negative 10 on all of these. So if you plug that in, you're going to get that, hey, all of these work. So ignore this first column. Let's look at the second column. We will need to do this twice because these two numbers match these two. So when we do it one way, we'll either eliminate A and B, or we'll eliminate C and D, then we have to plug in the last two. So why don't you look here and see that, hey, 0.25x, 0.25, another way of looking at that is 1/4. So here, y equals 1/4 x minus 10. So let's plug in 4. So y, in this case, negative 9 equals 1/4 of 4 minus 10. So negative 9 equals, what's 1/4 of 4? That would be 1 minus 10. So negative 9 equals 1 minus 10, which is negative 9. So these numbers work. When x is 4, y is negative 9. Which also tells us that when x is 4, y is not negative 11. So we can cross out C and D. Now we have to plug in 8 for x and see if this works. So y equals 1/4 x minus 10. Let's plug in these numbers. Y equals negative 8 equals 1/4 times x. X is 8 minus 10. So now let's solve. Negative 8 equals 1/4 of 8. So what's 1/4 of 8? 2 minus 10. So negative 8 equals 2 minus 10 equals negative 8. So 6 has to be A. Because when y is negative 8, x is 8. On to 7. Which inequality has the graphed solution below? Okay, so what is this solution? Well, we know that x is greater than or equal to, what number is between 0 and 1? It looks right in the middle. We would get 1/2 or 0.5. So which of these gives us 1/2 or 0.5? Strategy we can use here is we know that, well, we'll go through. So let's look at A. So we have 7, and we're looking at A. 2x plus 1 is greater than or equal to 0. Solve for x. Subtract 1 on both sides. 2x is greater than or equal to 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So divide by 2, divide by 2. X is greater than or equal to negative 0.5. Is negative 1 divided by 2, it's 1/2, negative 1/2, so negative 0.5. Does it match what we found over here? No, it does not, so A cannot be the answer. Let's look at B. So 2x minus 1 is greater than or equal to 0. We have to add 1 on both sides. These will cancel, forming a 0 pair. Bring everything straight down. 2x is greater than or equal to 1. Now to get x by itself, we have to divide by 2. Those cancel. X is greater than or equal to 1/2, which is 0.5. Does this match what we have here? X is greater than or equal to 0.5. Yes, it does. 7 has to be B. All right, moving on. 8. Sandro currently has this much in his savings account. He saves this much per month. Bay currently has this much in her account. She saves this much per month. How much more money than Alessandro will Bay have after 12 months? Okay, so this one, we would need to write inequality. So we have Sandro currently has 2,400 and he saves, so his amount of money increases 250 per month. Bay has 1,750. She saves $350 per month. So how much more does she have after 12 months? So let's just plug it in. 2,400 plus 250 times 12. Because instead of X, we know how many months? It's 12. So that becomes 2,400 plus 250 times 12, which is 3,000, which equals 5,400. So Alessandro has 5,400. Moving on to the next person's 1,750 plus 350 times 12. So 1,750 plus 350 times 12 is 4,200. When we add these up, we get 5,950. The question is, how much more money does Alessandro have? So how much more? What's the difference between these two? So 5,950 minus 5,400, 0, 5, 5. So $550. So 8 is C. On to 10. Omar mows lawns for that much per hour. He spends this much on gas. How much does he make if he works X or H hours? So he works $9.25 per hour. 1 hour he makes that, 2 hours he'd multiply it by 2. So we know that these can't be it. So we've eliminated our options to just C and D. So let's put ourselves in the situation. If we mow lawns, we make this much per hour. We have to spend this much on gas. Is that money that increases the amount of money we have or decreases the amount of money we have? Well, if it costs us this for gas, that's money that doesn't add to our total, it takes away. So we have to take away $7.50 for the gas, which means 9 has to be D.